Hi, Savidim.
Now is really the global revolution. It's a spiritual revolution. The information, the culture, all of that comes out of that. And so now there's so many possible futures and so many developments because there's been so many good people that actually care and want to stabilize civilization and thrive and have a future and who are not based on conquest mindsets, but are based on Renaissance concepts, the Great Reset versus the Great Awakening, that right now anything is possible because America still has the world reserve currency, still has the biggest, best military, still has the best energy system for raw energy, and still has a spirit that is being rekindled that was the apple of the world's eye and really the flower of the Renaissance that we're now rebooting. It's powering back up right now. And that window is closing, but we're acting on it right now. And if we're just not weak and cowards, like Trump has said, and if we don't become panicans but remain Americans, then really anything is possible because, as Elon has said, if America falls, the central pillar in Western civilization, and Western civilization falls, it all falls.
Yes.
And so for me, I don't do this out of courage. I do it out of direct self-preservation for myself, my family, and by extension, everybody else, because we're all interconnected. And people need to understand the true urgency that the globalists said they were going to collapse the world economy and use that for social control, as Larry Fink said, to control our behavior. And we're going to build something extremely hellscapish and dystopic in their own admissions. I mean, all the horrible stuff we see is just the leading, edge of it. So to me, there's really even no choice but to fight it with everything I've got.
So you said you said two things that really struck me. One, that anything is possible right now. This could go in an infinite number of directions, some hellish and some blessed. And so I think that feels right to me. Second, you said this is a spiritual revolution. What are the signs that you see of that? What do you mean by that?
Well, if you read the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, it's all there. And then I see it happening. It says that during these big times of change, that you'll see the best out of the good people and the worst out of the bad people. And some people you thought were good are going to really activate and show you their real cards, that they really are servants of evil or really slaves of evil. And then you're going to see some people you thought weren't good that are going to be touched and make the decision to be strong for liberty. That'll be some of our greatest champions.
Yes.
And that you're not going to really see people in the middle anymore, that big middle of people passing the buck. God said you were hot nor cold. You were lukewarm. I spit you out of my mouth. And so we're going into really the beginning. It's going to get way more intense in my view. If any prediction, it's that. If people think things are wild now and tumultuous, this is going to be seen as the calm before the storm. And so there's going to be nowhere to be in the middle. People are going to have to choose a side. And those that have chosen evil, chosen the establishment, chosen the satanic world order, are going to get deeper and deeper into their devotion, their hysteria, their violence, trying to prop it up because deep down they're scared and they have a form of Stockholm syndrome where they go to the abuser and think if they prostrate themselves before it, somehow they'll be given deliverance, when really they just need to repent and ask God to come in to their heart and cleanse them and then rise them up to be a soldier against this evil in this key time. But there'll be no room for anybody in the middle in the time we're in. And I'm talking to so many people that weren't even Christian or weren't even religious or weren't even spiritual who are saying it's good versus evil. And I talk to so many people I know that are professionals, and they, Austin's full of a lot of, particularly rich people and women, just becoming demon possessed. I mean, literally saying that they're demon possessed, and I'm hearing about all over the country, all over the world.
What is that? It's so noticeable, and I'm so blessed to be surrounded mostly by women who are just the opposite, who are wonderful, who are the rock. I mean, they're just the best. However, what you just described is just on display everywhere.
Well, and it's men too. You hear about the soccer coach that just kidnapped a little kid and took him and killed him and threw him in the woods, reportedly, allegedly. Yeah. It's men too, but normally in history, it's men that do the really openly satanic stuff.
Yes, exactly.
And women, 2% of violent crime. Now it's because it's a crisis, and women particularly, but men as well, buy into whatever they see as the power structure. That's a survival mechanism generally.
That's exactly right.
But when the power structure is a death cult, by increment, they get deeper and deeper. I mean, you look at these leftists and them in the hundreds of photos where they took their shot and they had their abortion, or, they want to kill Trump. And you look at them.
Or they're worshiping death in some way.
Absolutely. And you could see it. They all look super unhealthy. They look totally insane in the eyes. They look like Charlie Manson. And so it's I'm seeing more and more love in people's eyes,
Yes.
more and more spiritual connection to God, more and more of that quiet place of just serenity in people. And then I'm seeing more and more of the satanic energy. So it's really a parting of the sea here.
Yes. So to just linger on the first observation that you're seeing more of the serenity, the peace from God in people, that is including people in your orbit, people you know personally?
Yes. But it's very paradoxical. I'm seeing just godliness, peace, understanding, and then I'm seeing confusion and hysteria. And I mean, what we're seeing is evil writhing around, trying to take us with it. It gets senses that humanity's waking up, and that all of its carefully laid plans to keep us in a trance, keep us asleep, is burning away.
Is there any way to predict? Well, I'll just say my view, which is I've been really shocked by people on both sides. There are people who seem totally seized by hysteria and rage and hate and the desire to commit violence. I never expected they would be that. And then there are other people who I'm equally shocked to see filled with the kind of serenity you're describing, who are filled with love and understanding. And I couldn't have predicted who those people are in some cases. Do you feel that?
Absolutely. I mean, I've always had a lot of berserker energy and
True.
And you know, in the fight, but it was always focused, and I wouldn't say it was demonic, but it was, you know, of the flesh, but I also had a big connection to God. Now more and more, I'm just have serenity, focus, clarity, and I'm more effective at breaking things down, not acting like a Tasmanian devil. And so in my own life, I'm seeing more and more of that serenity, just really, really intense the last few weeks. And I picked up on that being around you and your crew and, you know, folks here in this little hamlet we're in. And then it really does make you feel sorry for people that serve evil. I mean, they torture us and they attack us and they want to bully us. But at the end of the day, you actually realize that's on them. It is so sad that they live like this.
They're being destroyed too. They're being destroyed too. That's like one of the main insights I've had in the past 5 years. I come to things really slowly because I'm not a genius, but I always kind of felt hate toward the destroyers in any society. I hate destruction. I like building and creation. But the destroyers always were, I felt, my enemies. And my whole life I felt this. And then it was only in the last couple of years I realized they're being destroyed also. Like they are suffering. They're not getting out of this unscathed. Like they think that they're getting power or whatever money, whatever they think they're getting. But they're like in agony. Like,
well, a lot of them are cowards too. They think survival of the fittest, just being as ruthless and mean as possible, is what they have to do to win. And then when you no longer hate them, because I was never driven by hate as my main force. It was just the old saying, you don't fight an enemy attacking your people because you hate them. You fight them because you love the people you're defending.
Exactly.
But still, I would always hear, no, forgive them, still fight them, still expose them, but really forgive them. That removes a spiritual connection that you have with them. And you see it when Christ says, you know, be kind and pray for those that persecute you. It'll heap burning coals on their head. Stalkers, you know, down at the kind of the low level. I've learned, like, once I didn't care about a stalker and I've had plenty and you just forgive them, they just freak out and go away. When they're getting to you, they're enjoying that energy. So you still fight them with more energy than ever, but you do it from a position of just removing a damaged, collapsed, you know, poor victim of the devil that you have a responsibility to protect yourself and your family from, but you don't give them the energy of being angry back at them and seeing them as powerful, because they're not, they're pawns. And these people that are influenced by satanic energy, by literal spiritual forces, demons, they are the slaves. And when they're not out doing evil and persecuting people, they don't even feel like they're alive, and they're desperate and they're scared and they're lost. And then they get driven forward, you know, by this dark force to like, it'll be all right once you just go out and once you take these people out. You know, it's the good people that are making you feel bad. You know, it's them. Destroy them, then you'll have peace. And that's the deeper understanding I've had of how this satanic system works.
Dincolo că